I'm going to start sharing the screens. It is now on Facebook, the 2M Burrito page, as well as YouTube. So you guys should get notifications on that.
Hmm.
Yes. See it. Mm.
Officially live. You guys can
Now
hear
I
me?
I
can hear
can
you.
now.
Now I can hear you. Before I was just talking. Until I hit this button. So I'm going to hit this button and then we're going to get going. All right. And away we go. What is up, everybody? It is your boy Lou Martinez, aka Big Chief Burrito, here with another episode of Fireside Chats with Big Chief Burrito. Today, we were planning on talking about acting and staying creative during the COVID age with my good friend and collaborator Jovi Olivas, and with Kenny, my right hand man and camera guru as well. But obviously, you guys understand a lot of things happened today, including the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman. So we're going to talk about that, other current events. If you guys have any comments, stories, remembrances, feel free to comment them, and we will mention them on the show. If you want to stop by, it is sort of a open forum today. So if you guys want to come in and say a couple of things, also, especially if I know you, hit me up, and I can send you a link so you can join us. But first, I wanted to introduce my guest, my co-host, Mr. Kenny Jenkins. How you doing today, Kenny?
I'm good. How's everybody doing? I'm good.
Looking suave in his gamer studio there, where he does his content creation. You can follow him on Twitch at Hero Team Ken, and creator of the 60-second soap opera, as well as the band Wicked Echoes, and longtime
Co-creator of the
2AM
band.
co-creator of the band, and longtime 2AM burrito actress and collaborator Jovi Olivas. How you doing today, Jovi?
Hi there. I almost
Uh,
brought out the big headphones, but the boys told me it looked terrible, so
well, this is. I mean, what are you saying?
Hey,
What?
we got we
I
got
wanted
big
to be
ones
a
too.
part of the team, and I had those giant headphones on just to look like you guys, and you guys were laughing at me.
We're not playing Fortnite over here. We're trying to have a serious conversation about acting. But obviously, let's start off with the obvious. The news broke a few hours ago, so everybody's still sort of in shock. And that's why I kind of reached out to both of you and said, hey, I know we were supposed to talk about this, but it would be silly of us for not to address kind of what's going on in the world right now, especially Kenny. I know it affected you today earlier. But we got the word that, at 43 years old, uh, you know, Black Panther, one of the most influential and iconic movies for a variety of reasons that has come out over the last several years, passed away. And then we found out that not only did he pass away, but he had been working nonstop. The Five Bloods, a bunch of other movies that were in production that he somehow finished off, all the while going through stage 3 and 4 cancer treatments and surgery. Which
Wow.
and an iconic actor. He played Jackie Robinson in a movie, and he died on Jackie Robinson Day in baseball, which
Hmm.
is another thing that's kind of hitting me about that, because obviously Jackie Robinson, an icon for breaking the color barrier in baseball. Then we have Chadwick Boseman, also another icon for since Blade and others. Um, the first modern major black superhero that just kind of broke all barriers, Wakanda Forever, and what have you. So wanted to get Kenny just kind of your initial thoughts after the shock today. Kind of how are you processing this?
I'm not processing it. Like I'm still processing Kobe, but when I found out about it, like literally an hour ago, came into Lou's room and was like, bro, can like yeah. So, but we lost a true hero today. He was a hero to a lot of black and brown kids that really looked up to him. Um, there's not a lot of like for a black man, for a black child, we don't have a lot of figures to like really look up to. And I used to say it as a negative thing. A lot of times when Black Panther first came out, and I saw the reaction of the kids and everything of how they looked at this person. He's a black man. He's a king. He has his own country. Like he's so powerful. They were like, this is a possible thing for a black man to do, to be, even though it's fictional. A lot of kids was like, this is the first time I see somebody, because I don't see myself in movies and TV. I don't see black doctors and black heroes like I should. They see other races. So for Chadwick, it was like this was the first time. Like I said, at first I almost like would do a little negative thing, like really, this is the first thing that we have a figure that we can look up to. But after I got over that, I was like, nah. Even if it's the first or one of the first or whatever, it's still a good thing. And what he did and what he's done is really good. And it's tough, man. It's tough. It's gonna take me a while to process it. Like I said, I'm still processing Kobe, and it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah, 2020 is the year that just keeps on, giving, in lack of a better word. Obviously Jovi as an actress, both of you guys are actors, but what were your initial thoughts when you kind of heard about that?
Um, I must say that I'm more of a DC fan, so I'm a little behind and haven't seen Black Panther. But from what you're saying, I did watch Blade a long time ago. So, but from what you're saying about Mr. Boseman being so young and being stage 3, stage 4 cancer during the last few years of his career and still working, that's incredible. Because most people, if they have a headache, they just quit going on the set. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it sounds like he broke a lot of barriers, and at such a young age, you know. And we need more of those actors out there that are changing, you know, the scene, so to speak. It's a shame that we lost him, really, you know. So I feel for you, Ken. So
Yeah, and to speak on what Kenny was talking about, the representation and seeing yourself on screen is something that is, you know, for all three of us, you know, seeing women represented, seeing minorities represented, brown men, black women, brown women, is something that you can't really minimize. Because, you know, like I've said before, when I was a kid and I didn't, unless it was Mexican or Latin TV, which you saw, but you always kind of saw that as secondary to, you know, American white TV. And, you know, where they would open up the fridge and there would be always a roasted chicken, you know. I remember as a kid, you know, every American sitcom, they would open up the fridge and it was like, why do they have all this chicken just already? Every kitchen. But I remember watching LA Law in the 80s, and I remember not even seeing a Latin person on screen, but just seeing the name of one of the actors who was A. Martinez. Just the letter A Martinez, and he's in a lot of shows. You know, since then he's you know he's one of the most prolific Latin actors out there.
mm,
At least in terms of TV shows and stuff. And even that, just seeing my last name in the credits of a major TV show was like a big thing. Not to mention seeing them portrayed as something other than drug dealers, excuse me, gangsters, thieves, drug addicts, etc. So, and that was what 20, 25 years ago.
mm,
To the progress has been slow, and a movie like Black Panther and his role in the other Marvel movies was something that you can't diminish, and I think he gets just icon status based on that. Like Kenny said, you know, it's still incredibly raw and incredibly early. But the stories and the remembrances for people that are coming out, I saw something on Twitter today, where somebody that was in a movie with him was hanging out at a baseball game right after he had finished filming, and the Jackie Robinson movie 42 had come out. And he said that he was going to go to a baseball game with Chadwick, and he showed up late with like a baseball cap all low, like kind of hiding himself. And he's like, "Well, what happened?" And he's like, "Well, I was coming out of my hotel room, and all these people had all this Jackie Robinson stuff, all these bats and gloves and things that they wanted me to sign, and I couldn't do it. I had to sneak out the back." And his thought was that normal actors would sort of jump at the chance to sort of, you know, relish in that. And he was like, "Look, they got to understand, I'm not Jackie Robinson. I'm just an actor." And that made him sort of feel like he shouldn't take that accolade because people might have been revering him for the wrong reason. So the fact that he was
mm.
that humble, I've I've seen pictures of him in cancer wards celebrating birthdays with kids that had cancer, and he never like once mentioned that he was going through. I remember a few months ago people were posting pictures of him looking really frail and skinny,
Yeah.
and people were like, "What's going on here?" But they're like, "No, it's just a role." You know, he made 5 major motion pictures during chemo and cancer surgery treatment.
Wow.
And the fact that in 2020 none of that leaked and his inner circle kept it as tight as it did.
Wow.
um I don't know, man. There's like so many reasons to praise him. You know, so you know, here we are. You know, obviously we want to talk about other stuff, but I wanted to kind of make sure that we address that kind of early, since it is something that just happened today, a couple of hours ago. The news broke. But I mean, what's your favorite? What's your favorite Chadwick Boseman movie? Ken, it's got to be Black Panther, right?
Yeah, probably Black Panther for sure.
What was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene in Black Panther,
Yeah.
man. That's a hard one, bro. I wish you would have prepped that question.
Just
So
right now,
many.
one of them what's one that just pops into your mind, man?
The ones that came to my head automatically, the first two were him fighting Killmonger, falling over into the water, and then him killing Killmonger, and bury me with the ashes, my generation, and all that.
Yeah, I mean, and those are two icons right there in on screen together in terms of like modern black actors right there.
Yeah.
For me, I think it would have to be the kind of like his first fight on the roof in with Bucky, right? Was that Captain America? Was that when that was one of the that was one of the Avenger movies?
That was one of the Avengers, yeah.
Yeah. Then just kind of just when that role was introduced, like when we're like, oh, we're in Wakanda now, and it's like, damn, they just brought this entire sort of added element to this franchise. Obviously, the way Marvel sort of laid out that entire franchise in those movies was very brilliant. But once Black Panther was introduced and he started becoming a part of the team and him jumping to try to save his father during the bomb and stuff like that, all that stuff kind of like is iconic, and now even more so because we lost him today. But like I said, 2020, it's one day after another. Like the previous day, we had people breaking rules by having campaign rallies on federal property, and before that, it was another shooting and protests and stuff like that. So it is a year and a time where we are in a pandemic where we're just in a fucking brutal stretch of history right now.
California's burning.
California's burning. People are protesting. There's people. There's all kinds of stuff.
Wildlife is going crazy.
All right. Well, Olivia is watching, and she says, "Wakanda Forever." What's up, Olivia? Thank you for stopping by. Kalani, I haven't talked to Kalani in a while. How you doing, Kalani? She sends her love.
What's up,
she's at home with her brand new baby, and congratulations to her, she says. And also we have hurricanes. She also mentions that we have hurricanes that are popping off all over the south.
Oh yeah. Yikes, that's true. Is it going towards the east right now? I believe the last map I saw.
I think it broke. There's two hurricanes. It's like a double rainbow. But,
I'm trying not to look.
It's like the complete opposite of a double rainbow.
Oh god, the double rainbow thing.
But all that being said, I did the main thing, and we'll touch back on this if people have other comments or thoughts, or if you guys think of something. Absolutely, we can talk about it. But we wanted to also talk a little bit about staying creative during the pandemic, because no matter what's going on around us, what's going on in the world and politics, and what we have to do to keep ourselves and our families safe during this, there's always one of the only things that's keeping me sane is things like this, because number one, it allows me to have human interaction with people, even though we're supposed to be social distancing. Number two, it allows me to stay creative, and I love to talk, obviously. But so it's important for people to find outlets for their creativity, because obviously I don't see, unless there was, for me to be on a movie set right now, it would take an incredible amount of preparation, timing, things to change, numbers to change, etc., for me to feel comfortable, calling all the 2 a.m. burrito players and being like, we're filming something 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Free up the schedule. We're going,
Yeah.
But
that's how it used to be.
So I know Ken is doing. Obviously, he's my partner at 2 a.m. Burrito, and we're doing a lot of content creation he's helping me a ton with the videos that I've put out for Edwood Film School. He's helped me a lot with the podcast that we're putting out, and he's also for people that are on Twitch, also streaming gaming content on Twitch at Hero Team Ken.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's
follow
easy.
me.
He's about that. He's about that Twitch life.
Yeah.
All right. I wish I got in on
some-
that sooner.
I'll probably be doing some just chatting as well. Just not even playing games. Just you guys want to have a conversation, want to talk. We can just chill and talk on Twitch. So
Yeah.
What games are you playing on there?
right now, I'm playing Call of Duty and this new game called Grounded. It's like an adventure game. It's like Honey I Shrunk the Kids mixed with Bugs Life. Make it a survival
fun!
game. Yeah.
I haven't heard
They
of that
got
one though,
spiders
unfortunately.
and all kinds of stuff that I have to fight because spiders are like all the way up there. Like we're like looking up at spiders and we gotta kill them.
That is so cool. What a great concept.
Pretty cool. I like it.
We'll have to check your channel out.
Yeah, I know you were. The last thing I know that you were playing, Jovi, is you had run into Red Dead for PC. Did you ever finish that game? Or?
No, because I got distracted by Kingdom Come, which during the pandemic was almost an equally absorbing game. I can't diss on Red Dead at all though, because as soon as I get the chance or the time, I'll jump back into it for sure. So
I was playing Red Dead Redemption, and what happened with me was, and I told Kenny about this, is that when the game first came out, there was a glitch where there was this place where you found a bar of gold, and if you took certain steps when you found that bar of gold, like you had to save and then you had to go back to the same place, you could get it multiple times. And I did this for like entire days of playing where I just did is stack up gold. So everything in the game cost like 30 cents, 10 cents. When you play poker, you bet like 50 cents a hand. And I was walking around with like $250,000 in 1800 just because I had this glitch, right? And and everything was going fine. And then there's this part where you wash up on a deserted island and all your money goes to zero. And you can't carry it over for the rest of the game. So that was just like,
what a waste of time.
That was it. But it's not like any other.
Sounds like the Grand Theft Auto cheats.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, that was it. I think it was basically like, well, here, fuck you.
Sounds like real life.
But also, Ken, I was gonna let
2020.
you know, yeah, that just chatting is the PG-13 version of OnlyFans. So that's just that's basically what's happening on the
pretty much. I have done a lot of lurking. Like I am like probably one of the #1 lurkers on Twitch. And if you guys don't know what lurking is, it's just when you go onto somebody's stream, you don't say anything, you just watch. And I do that a lot. I wanted to just see everybody's setup and see what they were doing, and I wanted to learn the rules because like the rules of Twitch is not really, I don't know, maybe there's a list somewhere, but you kind of just figure them out. That's what I'm doing. But I've been seeing girls do the most.
Yeah, they're just sitting there like they're just sitting there looking hot, and they just sit there and just be like, "Oh, I play video games. Thank you for sending me money." I mean, shuck.
I'm in the wrong field of work.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you can make
a girl that does just chatting at her pool every day.
So I don't have to wear pants and make a lot of money.
Oh yeah, you can. They go hand in hand. Kalani wants to know if you're playing on PC. No, Kenny plays on Xbox, right?
Yes, I just got a new PC, so I will be playing on PC, like certain games on PC soon.
And then Olivia is playing The Last of Us 2, or she's asking us. I wanted to buy that game, but I just felt that if I started playing it, it would distract me from pretty much everything. So I got asked a while back what would be the one thing that would make me a better editor, and it's still true, and that would be to get rid of my PlayStation. Because it's that battle every night where it's like I got a couple of hours. What should I do? Should I edit something or should I play Fall Guys? Or something.
It's that Animal Crossing for me right now on Switch.
Really? Yeah.
I can't help it. Yeah, that game is so addicting. Animal Crossing.
Yeah, no.
New Horizons.
I've seen people playing it. I know people that stream it. I just watch them and I don't understand what's going on.
It's just like going to work,
Yeah,
it's a whole separate life.
Yeah, but then again, I also grinded for 2 days for fake money on Red Dead Redemption. So who am I?
You totally would love it then.
Who am I to judge that? But
Uh,
also, Toby, you're an actress. We've worked together numerous times. What is you are basically doing a lot of well, you have your band, right? Because I know because we've played your music on our movies and stuff, where you had several bands, um,
yeah.
and and you're also doing the
Oh,
60-second soap opera,
I
which
appreciate
is
that.
a sort of combination of like every soap opera cliche from like the last 40 years mixed with like a modern twist on it. How did that even start for you? Where did that thought kind of um germinate in your mind?
I always wanted to, make my own web series at some point, but I never had the time. I work a day job full time, and then sometimes I would try and go to school, and then there's the band, and then I'm always like having like 5 projects at the same time, and none of them happen to be making my own web series like I've always wanted to do. So then here comes the pandemic, and the quarantine and lockdown and all of that, and I find myself with an opportunity, and I figured the only way for this to happen is to just do it, and what better time to do anything than when you're sitting on your laurels at home, just feeling upset about what's going on in the world.
Right.
So yeah, I just had some, you have those days where you're laughing to yourself. You think of short scenarios where things go wrong, and it's just funny. So I started like compiling those little thoughts and chatting them over with my partner about this show, and then we would just end up writing and filming, without pausing. And I think that was important for someone with like ADD. It's like just keep going, just do it. Otherwise, you're gonna get thrown into the swirl of the horrible 2020 as it is, Yeah,
Right.
so that's how it came about.
How long are those scripts? Because it's a 60,
Well,
60-second soap opera, so it's like
they're really
that's
not that
supposed to be
long.
it's supposed to be 1 page a minute, right? So
Well, okay, let's just say it's more notes and it was mostly improv. So
okay.
I call it scripts, but we just had a generalized idea written down, I think, is more of
You're not
how it was.
you're not formatting it or going like final draft on it. You're just basically just writing some stuff down and then getting to it, right?
Yeah, well, currently, because with 60 seconds, not a lot of time, we got to get it done. And we didn't have any backlog. We didn't give ourselves 2 weeks of material so that we can keep working and at a nice even pace. We just started and printed and started and printed, So
Just
yeah,
one
not
after
a lot of
another.
time. Yeah, and if we stopped, then we would put it out late, so that didn't work out. So. Mm-hmm. 60
Uh,
seconds is not a whole lot of time, and that was kind of a good thing for us because then that way we can consolidate and like put some material to another episode and stuff like that.
yeah, Kurt dropped in Enslaved by Vegetables. He said, "I've heard of her band before. Pretty good stuff."
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. Well, continue to follow us. We're on Facebook and Instagram and Amazon, I think, Spotify and all that stuff. So thanks for listening.
How many characters do you play on the show?
Considering we weren't allowed for a while to, socialize, and even to this day we have our limitations. We could only use the folks that were in this household, which are 2 and a dog. So we both had to play. Well, I had to play. Going back to your question, let's see, 1, 2, 2 characters. Not too bad. So, but they were like 5 characters total that we both had to play. So yeah, I mean, one day we hope to expand where we can pull in San Diego talent and work with and collaborate with other San Diego producers and stuff so that we could expand on it, but the world hasn't let us do that yet, obviously.
The 60-second universe.
Yeah.
Videos I've been seeing of people doing stuff in their house, making little games. Like literally, people are making Mario Party in their house, like with their family, because they're so bored. Like bowling out of like I don't even know water bottles. You guys seen that ping pong one where they try and bounce it off of pots and pans to get it in a cup? Like people are doing the most, but I understand because you will go sane if you don't do something. Gotta do something.
And there was this guy he put a laundry basket on a treadmill and decided to ride it at the different levels that a treadmill has. So you see him on level 1. Oh, okay, he makes it. All right. Level 2, still makes it. Level 4 is when he starts like flying off the treadmill, and it's like the funniest thing to watch. It's out there on YouTube or Facebook, memes and stuff. It's so good. Something so simple.
Did you?
But yeah,
Go ahead, Joey.
Oh, sorry. I was just about to say, the world is almost like helping us be creative in weird, different ways that kind of, help soothe pain that we're all suffering together. So we're seeing a lot of funny things happening right now.
Yeah, no matter what, it's also just I mean it is important to laugh. It's in the midst of chaos, in the midst of pain, you have to crack jokes. You have to do that, and if you can do that in a way where you stay creative, and put content out there for other people to laugh. Like I love when people tell me, there's a joke I did on a podcast or something, and they had somebody cracking up, or hey, I watched that thing you said, So
Yeah.
all of that is awesome. But how long did it? How long does one 1 minute episode take from writing to writing as in figuring out what you want to do, notes, to actually shooting it and then putting it together?
Well, with the way we organized things, which wasn't very organized at all, I would say a whole week from the end of the last episode. Yeah, honestly, because we'd be plotting the ideas. Because like I said, we didn't give ourselves any buffer. So we had 7 days after 7 days after 7 days to put something new out. Whatever, we figured we could do it. So we would start coming up with ideas throughout the week, and then come Thursday night or Friday night, film, edit on Sunday night to Monday morning, and release on Monday night. So yeah, it was just like no time.
Damn, that
was crazy. It was like 48-hour film festival like every week.
Yeah, well, damn. And you were doing this all on like are you guys editing like on iMovie or Premiere or?
I hate to say that I'm not that talented. This is, like I said, I wanted to try and get into this, but I never was able to. So I just found an app and paid some monthly fee so that this app could help me put something out there. My strength is unfortunately not with editing yet. I'm an actor, as you know, so that's really what I can do. Could I, collaborate with an editor at that time? I didn't think I could, and then Zoom started exploding. Things have changed a little bit, but yeah. So I've had to do all that other stuff on my own. And since I didn't really know how to, I had to find out how people do that, that don't edit. Like, oh, an editing app. What a great idea.
So you're just doing these on a phone or just on a laptop?
I was doing them all on a phone. I was filming on a phone.
Wow.
because Kevin Smith said, just freaking do it on a phone. Just do it. Well, don't quote me on that. That was totally paraphrased. But in order to do it, I had to I knew I couldn't film, or I wasn't a videographer. I wasn't a DP. I didn't know how to edit. So I did what I did and found a way to work around that. And it worked for what we were doing.
Oh, yeah. I think I know what you're saying about that quote. But yeah, if you have a camera, whatever you got, if you want to do it, just do it. Don't hold yourself back just because you don't have the fancy lights, the fancy camera, and all that. Just do it. It might come out and be amazing and get a trillion views on YouTube. Who knows? Just go ahead and do it. Have fun.
Yeah.
While you do it.
So.
Yeah, there's no real excuse right now for, and we did videos about kind of actors tips and stuff during COVID and what have you. And yeah, I there's nothing like, I interviewed Tom Stewart, and he's doing a one-man show with the Godfather movie where he's just reenacting the entire Godfather scene by scene by himself.
Right, I saw some of those.
Playing the character is a very Fringe Festival type project, but he's just sitting on his couch with his phone, recording it, boom, putting it out there. And and I've told actors that they should be, film yourself doing. I've seen actors out there that are reenacting famous scenes, monologues, things like that. All that is valid, in my opinion, as something that not only that's going to help you right now, but that you can show directors, producers, listen, I'm hungry. I did my own 60-second soap opera, and we did 18 episodes. Although I did see a different one, a show that might be competing with you. It's called 59-second soap opera.
Whoa, get out of
So
here.
I don't know. We might need to like run up, pull up on them or something, and
I'd like to see what that's about.
let them. They're cooking with your recipe.
Oh, bound to
When you
happen.
Because I know you from acting and stuff, but I also know you from my previous sort of life, or as
Yeah.
a worker in the world, which I still do.
You're a
But
boss.
a boss, which is funny because like you and other people when we used to work together used to call me boss or chief or stuff
Yeah.
like that, which is kind of where Big Chief Burrito came from, because I was just like, people call me that a lot, so I was like, okay, I'm the chief of the burrito clan. I can be Big Chief Burrito. I love burritos. I love the chief. Why not? Go ahead.
Yeah. You've been a boss since I met you.
Yeah, but even before that, going back, where did the bug for acting, for performing, what came first? Did the acting come first? Did the singing come first, or just performance in general? Where did that kind of come for you?
The singing came first. I was one of those kids where my parents were active at church and they would make us sing every Sunday. We'd learn a song every week and perform with my parents on Sundays. So definitely the singing came first, and then the appreciation for music as I got older. Growing up in the South Bay, it was all about R&B and Mariah Carey back then and stuff. And some of the top female vocalists ever in the world, top sellers ever, came out around that time. And so, yeah, I had those influences, and I wanted to be a singer initially. And that's where I was in an R&B band in high school, and we played at Denny's, a couple Denny's in town. But then at the same time, I went into drama because that was something my older brother did. It looked kind of fun in high school. And, suddenly I wanted to be an actor, got an agent, and started like living that life a bit. And I couldn't go back ever since. I've wanted to stop. I mean, at a point, sometimes there's not enough roles for people like me, or the roles are marginalized, just as Kenny was saying. For African Americans, same goes for like Asian Americans with roles and material that's out there for us to do, especially like 10 years ago. It's getting better now because I guess Asian culture is getting a little more popular, with movies like My Rich Asians, like that movie came out. I can't remember whatever the title was. I didn't even watch that one, sorry. But anyway, so yeah, so the acting bug has been with me ever since high school, pretty much. And I hope to start making my own footprint in there.
It almost sucks because it's like we almost have to be like, hey, we can make a movie all about Asians or all about Black people, and it can make as much money as all these other films. And then they start giving us credit, and now they want us. And now Netflix is all like this, and that Black, category, and Hulu has a Black category. Everybody has a Black category now.
Yeah.
Man, y'all late. Lou knows me. I love to tell everybody they're late. They're late. They're late. They're late.
They're late. Look what you've been missing.
We've been here this.
It only gets better.
We've been here this whole time, spending millions of dollars at the movie theaters. You would think that we would want to see ourselves on screen. No, it took a long time to them to realize that. I know Jovi though also like your sister is a singer too, or she sang as well, right? From yeah. Was there ever any like rivalry between you two in terms of like sing-offs, or like both kind of going for that sort of same thing?
Well, to be honest, she was always more skilled than I am, and I'm not being modest. She's like an even better singer than I am. There was a little bit of competition there where I wanted to try and be better than her at some points. I knew she was good, but I wanted to be better, of course, But I can't beat her, and so Hopefully, she goes back into singing eventually.
Wasn't she
But
like
she
on like
was
the? She was like on the Filipino version of like the Filipino American Idol, right? Wasn't
freaking
she on?
Beyonce. Oh,
The...
she sings. She sounds like Beyonce, to be honest.
right.
Filipino American Idol. Yes, yes, she was. She was in that the real Filipino scene in America for a long
Yeah.
time, as far as like the arts were concerned. She was working with producers and like record producers in that scene for a while. But unfortunately, she moved a different path not too long after that. Yeah.
Hey, everybody has to go find their own path.
Yes.
For
So
you though, you started off with the singing, then you kind of discovered the acting, and that took over. But I always ask the this or that question. So the this or that question for you would be let's say you're opening up for Beyonce, okay? All
uh-huh.
right. Let's say it's like
Whoa.
120 city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Worldwide tour.
I
Okay.
have a feeling where you're going with this.
Okay. All right. Right. That's option A. Option B, Jovi, is
Mm.
the 60-second soap opera gets picked up for like a 60 episode, mini season on Hulu,
Mm.
you know?
Man.
And you got to either take your band on tour for a year or you got to produce 60 episodes that are going to be on Hulu. Both of
Shoot.
them pay the same.
Decisions.
On
This or that.
this was hard for a second, but I feel like I would take the 60-second soap opera on HBO.
Not
I
HBO,
think I
Hulu.
would.
Don't try to
I'm
upgrade
sorry,
yourself.
Hulu. Oh, come on. You caught me.
You just got downgraded to Quibi.
Damn.
Oh, which I've been looking into with the 60-second soap opera. Too bad they don't take like amateur creators or anything, A lot of those platforms doing their
So you-
short sorry, what?
The Roku
go ahead.
channel. See, she said what? The Roku channel. There's a
I've been
Yeah.
looking into that. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
They're in the past. I don't know when they updated it, but now I can watch all like the news channels. Cartoon Network is on there now and stuff like that. And it's all free, but maybe
Yeah.
for us, like maybe a way for us to get something to get in there some way somehow, since they're not like huge yet, but
Mhm.
they're getting there.
There is a way to get your own Roku channel through Roku. I haven't looked into it that far. I was supposed to talk with or make a meeting with someone because I wanted to see what that was about. I'll keep tabs on that and let you know. But yeah, I think you can make your own channel on some of those streaming avenues these days.
The
Things are
200
trying to
channel.
compete with YouTube. Yeah, or the 2AM Burrito channel.
Yeah.
Everybody's competing with each other, and everybody's getting better and better. So that makes the competition better, and that makes our experience better because they're competing to be the best.
More options.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also
So-
more work, potential work. They're gonna need us. They need us.
Well, that's the hope, considering what's going on with Hollywood lately. Lots of fear that work for the little guy is gonna disappear. I'm like, wait, I haven't made it yet.
When was the last time you were on set?
Mm.
That wasn't
Like
for
real?
something that you did in your house.
Oh gosh. I just participated in a class by the Film Consortium, and that was the last time I was on set. We did a
Is that like how to make a web series thing?
pilot. Yeah. And we did a web series pilot, and Mark Atkinson, he actually put it on IMDb and sent it to film festivals and stuff. So I say it
Nice.
made it legit.
Was that the dating artist or the?
Yes, the dating artist. Yeah. And then I think I did some background work much more recently, but yeah, it's been a little bit.
Now that's kind of so you haven't been on a post COVID sort of new age set, because I know I talked to Shelly a couple of weeks ago, and they did a music video, and they all had the face mask and the mask and the whole thing. They could only have a certain amount of people on set depending on the size of the room they were in. But you guys, you haven't got any gigs that have forced you to sort of make that decision about what to do, right?
Not quite yet. Just seeing those audition requests where you'll need to test. So like say yes to testing, before you get on set. And then I'm seeing things about for example, The Rock's coming out with a new movie, and I was reading in that article that he was looking into bubbles in sets. Some sets are taking on these giant bubbles,
Tyler Perry's got like a giant bubble out there in his studio.
Yeah.
For his movies.
So
I said
it's new world.
I said it a long time ago that sports was gonna kind of be first, and then other industries were gonna take their cues from sports. So NBA
You're
did it
right.
They did it with the bubble. Major League Baseball, not so much. They were just like, hey, everybody kind of take care of yourself. But then people started testing positive like left and right. Hockey did a bubble, and they haven't had any positive test. And I think now the next big test is football, because those offensive linemen are like going to be bumping into each other. Like every time you get tackled, you're going to have somebody in your face. So, and those are teams of like 50, 60 people plus traveling staff. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to say that every single one of those people is not going to, go out without a mask or go into a difficult situation or stuff like that. So, if there is
It'll be hard.
Yeah, and teams are even saying, "Yeah, we're gonna have fans in the stand." I'm like, really? I mean, baseball's got cardboard cutouts. You can pay to have like your dog put on a cardboard cutout and put into the stands at Major League Baseball stadiums. But it is kind of like a weird time, so I just kind of wanted to touch base with you on that. From the acting perspective, we sort of get where you're coming from. Now, the other aspect is the band. So Wicked Echoes. Now, you guys, not necessarily, you guys weren't doing like 120 city tour, but you guys did play shows once in a while, festivals, different things like that. And I've seen that you've done some like live rehearsals and kind of like little live shows here and there where you just online and stuff like that. How is that from a musical standpoint? I mean, you got the two outlets. You got the acting and then you got the music, right? Which one has been sort of a more freeing outlet for you?
Freeing, obviously, is music. It kind of goes with the package. And if you could just imagine the characters that come out of the music scene, they're definitely more out there. Well, I don't know. I don't think I could even say that. There's a lot of out there actors, but the reason is music is like it's like a sprint, whereas film, theater, television, you're there for a long time. You spend hours and days, on just a few hours of footage, sometimes. And so, yeah, freeing, I would say music, because you're out there, you just bang and you're done. It's like a 30-minute set at most of the time. So you practice and spend hours a week getting ready for just 30 minutes, to impress or not impress your audience or prove like that you have something going on, And hopefully it's people that don't even know who you are see you. Chances of that are slim too. So, the odds of, so you really have to explode when given that chance to do the set. Yeah. But it's definitely freeing because you just let it all hang out there, and it's live, and if it's good or bad, like you can't do anything about it. So what you're going to bring is what you're going to bring.
So it's more of like a release of energy, endorphin, stuff like that when you were able to do that. Do you feel this? Do you feel the same way about like when you guys are just practicing versus when you guys are sort of practicing live? Is there a different element that gets added to that?
When we practice together, that's when the writing happens, and it's a whole different energy because you have three different minds and with three different strengths and another set of weaknesses, trying to work together to put a comprehensive song that we all like and that we think people are going to like. So the energy when you're practicing is all about creating in the garage for us, practice rooms for other people or studios for richer people. But yeah, so it's still like a sprint, like because you only have so many hours in a day to get 13 songs ready for recording at any given time, and time is money. I guess it sounds like a set too, but it just feels faster. It feels more what would you call it? Like high adrenaline, high energy. The music part of things, music side.
So it's more like a rush, a release versus more of a collaborative effort when you guys are doing it.
Well,
in
it's
private.
still a collaborative effort. Yeah, it's like no one gets to see that. Nobody
No,
really knows about that. Yeah, nobody probably even thinks about that. That it's like hours and hours of practice and writing and scratching off and rewriting, and some songs never make it. I know Knox, who's the frontman of my band, he has hundreds of songs never heard by anyone. My little brother, who's a songwriter, I don't think you ever met my little brother, Lou, but he's like 12 years younger than me.
Okay.
He's a songwriter too, and he has like 200 songs too that no one's ever heard. It's just harder to put that stuff out there because it's more personalized. Like when you're an actor, you're reading someone else's writing oftentimes, and you're playing a character that's not yourself. You might be method acting and then so on and so forth. You might be taking parts of yourself, whatever. But when it comes to music, like that is you. It pretty much represents you. Like you have nowhere to hide. Your music is your personality, and it's the message you're sending. Like you are sending. So that's almost like the big difference between the two.
As you can see, Kenny's set up. He's about to start recording some slow jams in his little studio right there. All he needs is, he's going to be doing like a Babyface tribute album.
You already know.
Nice.
I'm ready. You guys want to make a beat? You want to do some voiceovers? You want to create a track? We can do it. Got the laptop, got the beat maker, got everything. We're ready. We're ready here at Twitter.
Yes.
Kenny's gonna be the guy that comes in and drops the hip hop verse over your next single. The change of pace.
Maybe you're gonna start making music for movies in there.
Yes, that's the plan. Mm-hmm. That's the whole plan. I was gonna ask, although it sounded like in your explanation of the last answer to the question Lou asked, you were pretty much saying like to create a song and stuff, and then to perform your own writing and all that kind of makes you like it's more you're more vulnerable. Is that what you're kind of saying?
I do say that, yes, because like I was saying, there's nowhere to hide when you're on stage performing your music from your own world and your perspective, where you don't get that safety with acting because, like I said, you're playing different characters, usually someone else is writing someone else's songs, So, yeah, I feel more vulnerable as a musician.
I could totally see that because, like, it's almost like the directors that direct their films, they're the lead actor and the writer and all these things. It's almost like the pressure, like it's more pressure because when you're just an actor, you're just like, all I have to do is just know my lines and do my job. But when you're everything or, it's just more pressure, and I could totally see how that could.
Well, for sure, that is the exception. If you're producing your own stuff, writing your own scripts, filming and editing your own stuff, I would say you're quite as vulnerable too. But then again, you're not telling your life story necessarily, through the material you've produced at that point either. So there's that vulnerability that's different with the music part too.
Because I know when I started writing, I sent some scripts to Lou. I sent some scripts to other friends because I'm like, me and Lou talks about this all the time, multiple drafts and all that. I had to learn the hard way, but
that's the best way.
I had to send them out just to make sure my own stuff is good because I don't want to have an ego and be like, since I wrote it, it's amazing and it's funny or whatever. Because I was writing a lot of comedy when I first started writing, but still do, I guess. But you have to let somebody else see it. At least me, it makes me feel more comfortable because it is. You're vulnerable, like hey Lou, is this skit gonna be funny when I cast my crew and stuff and all these other things? Get that feedback beforehand.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty necessary when you're not in a pandemic situation, because sometimes as the creator, you're too deep in the forest, to see the trees, and you kind of need that outside perspective just to keep you in check. Like, is that funny or is that just funny in my head? Come on, be honest,
Because Because a lot of people fail at that. Like they totally are not ready to step out, and they step out, and it's just like bad. Like stand-up comedians and stuff, they probably didn't. If you, I'm not saying that. Well, let me just say it before I say it. Stand-up comedians who fell on stage, you know, they probably should have took that chance to do it in front of their family and in front of their girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever, before they got on stage in front of a crowd of 50, 100 people or whatever, and just, and make sure you tell your friends to like, don't just be a yes man. Tell me the truth. Be honest.
Be honest.
Like, was it funny? Did it suck? Are you just laughing because you love me, or are you laughing because it was funny?
Yeah, you gotta get brutal. You gotta have people in your life that can be brutally honest with you and give you, because when you're writing, you have to figure out, is this just, like you said, is this just funny to me, or is this fun? I get crap on a lot because I throw a lot of really vague references in, or references that are hilarious to me, and just because I find an Aqua Teen Hunger Force reference from like season 5 episode 19 hilarious, doesn't mean that people watching a completely different movie are gonna get that. But so
we're just not as cultured as you, Lou.
There's a certain amount of not giving a fuck that goes into it. At some point you just got to kind of say, the right people will think this is funny, I guess, but you can also like I come up with an idea and I dread sharing it with my roommate, because who's a writer that's more accomplished than I am, but I know that he's going to give me honest, brutal feedback, and he's the person that can keep me in check better than everybody else. So you have to have that one. You have to have at least a couple of people that you trust. I was talking to John, our other friend, the other day, and he was giving him some feedback on his project, and I was like, I understand people have a difficulty coming to me once in a while because I sort of have the tendency to take over stuff, but I can also, if you tell me I just need feedback, I can just give you feedback. That's fine. You can take it or you can leave it. I wanted to follow up with you, Jovi, basically about kind of we're in a pandemic. We're also in a very heightened socio-political, kind of moment right now where, there's emboldened racists. There's the president saying, the Kung flu, things like that. As somebody who's out there, kind of, Asian community, etc. How have you been affected by that? Like, do you see people either looking at you different? Have you had people like yell at you to, things like that? How have you dealt with that so far?
I fortunately haven't run into anyone that's given me any racist remarks as I pass by or anything. The way I'm going to deal with it, if I ever do deal with that, is just I try not to I try to assimilate more than congregate with my race so much. I can understand why we feel like we need to do that, but I feel more strongly towards trying to assimilate with, Americans. I want to be seen as an American and less than my race, or more so than my race, I guess I should say. So, if I were ever to run into that, I would just keep going just as I always have. I mean, I have walked the streets of Carlsbad at one point, and I've had a racist remark just swung at me out of nowhere, and I couldn't even believe it because I didn't even think that existed anymore. But how naive I was, that's truly out there and alive, and we can see that with current events.
I remember, driving from California to Miami, mid '90s, and growing up in Queens and New York, you don't really encounter a lot of racism because you're growing up in this melting pot full of different types of people, but they're there. But I guess the first time where I felt that was we were driving through the South past Texas, and we were stopping at a gas station in Alabama, and this is what, like 1998, and I walked in to pay for gas, and it was like a scene out of Deliverance in this gas station where I walked in, and There's like 3 or 4 dudes. All of them look, like good old boys. Or I didn't know whether they were just on their way to a Klan rally or what. But they just
Mm.
everybody in the entire store just stopped, turned around, and just looked at me and I was just like, I've never felt this before, you
Yeah.
know. And so even as a minority kid growing up in New York, and then coming to California and not really having it affect you too much because, like you said, you grew up in the South Bay.
Uh-huh.
So if you're in Chula Vista, National City, you're there. You're
I'm
how are you
surrounded by my people.
how are you gonna feel it? Like you can live your entire life in New York and not speak English, right? You could be
Mm-hmm.
a Latin person in New York and live your entire life, go to banks, stores, jobs, walk around your neighborhood, and never have to speak a word of English. You can also do that and speak, Chinese. You can live. You can be yourself. You can fully immerse yourself in your own culture in certain parts of this country, and you can
Mm-hmm.
also like choose what you're trying to choose to do, which is to sort of you know blend into the culture. So that's basically kind of your approach to it, which is fun. Kenny,
That is my approach. Yeah.
go ahead. No, yeah, go
Oh
ahead. Wrap it up. Keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, go ahead. No, go, Kenny. What is it?
No. I was just gonna, pivot to Kenny. Obviously, everybody's experience is different. Obviously, you're the Black Lives Matter movement sort of has taken over the last several months. It's the NBA players, Major League Baseball basically took 2 days off to protest. There was talk about them canceling the rest of the playoffs. They were like, what the fuck is the point of us putting these message on the back of our shirts? What's the point of us writing Black Lives Matter on the basketball court if you're still gonna continue to do these things? And I guess what they came up with is that they're still going to keep playing, but the NBA owners have committed to opening up all the NBA arenas in November so they can be used for public polling places. They've agreed to put commercials on in between broadcasts to sort of promote people to vote at a local and national level. I know you've always said, I know that's one of your points is that some of this thing is happening too late, too late, too late. But specifically, just over the last few days, how do you feel about the kind of impromptu strike? Were you proud of kind of the players that took that stand and kind of what's happening over the last couple of days?
That when they walked off the 42 seconds, it was so powerful. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
that was my
it was
squad.
like, man, I loved it. I mean, that statement was the Mets and who else?
It was the Mets and the Marlins,
Mets and the Marlins. Oh my
yeah,
gosh! But
and if
for
no,
them to
no,
just do that is the statement that they made. I mean, I know we have statements happening every day, and powerful things are happening, but this, I think that kind of topped it for me. One of the things that tops it. I loved it. I'm not gonna say the whole late thing this time. It was right on time. It's right on time.
if you have a chance, check out Don Smith. He's a player for the Mets, my team, and basically he did an interview before the season started, which was basically about his experiences with racism, and he broke down a couple of days ago after all this new stuff happening in an interview, and he was just basically saying like, it's just sad that people still don't care. And yeah, they 42 seconds silence after the Mets got onto the field to honor Jackie Robinson on Jackie Robinson Day because he, wore 42 again, bringing it back to Chadwick that played him in a movie. And they walked off and just left a Black Lives Matter T-shirt at home plate. And the Mets and the Marlins both like, we're not playing today. They had played the day
Wow.
before. They did play the day before. The day before when the Bucks canceled and then the Milwaukee Brewers canceled their game. They did play,
Yeah.
which I thought was kind of weird, but then they were like, well, no, it just kind of happened late, and Major League Baseball is always secondary to act. But the fact that they did make that statement the next day, kind of was, I think, very powerful, and I think that I don't know if there was really a chance that the NBA players would cancel the entire playoffs. That would have been strong. But they did, they did vote to keep playing, which I thought was, if you can get the rest of, because basically what they're saying is our owners, which that's an interesting term that they use for people that own leagues where it's 90% black, right? They have influence that they're not prepared to use, right? They're basically saying, if you are an owner of $1 billion franchise, you have influence with politicians, with legislators, with giant corporations that are sponsors. You can't say, "Oh, I'm the owner of the, Minnesota Timberwolves, but I don't have any pull in Minnesota. I don't have, the Milwaukee Bucks, but we don't have any pull in Wisconsin." That's unrealistic to say that. So I think they can paint, Black Lives Matter on the basketball court, put messages on the back of their shirts, say stuff like that, but just now, and they can commit money to programs. But this is a major thing. I think the opening up NBA basketball arenas as gigantic safe places for people to go and vote, which often have large parking structures next to them. All those things, I think that is the concrete step that has come out of this, like the strongest concrete step that has come out of this, because mobilizing young minority voters, getting old voters to the booths is the only thing that really can get us out of this. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. I agree with you were saying with the whole, exactly what you said is why my reason why I'm like, yeah, vote to not cancel basketball. I mean, you guys almost made it to the end. You guys are in the bubble. The cases are down. And yeah, let those statements and all those visuals continue to happen. LeBron James get asked those questions every day. And when he answers, those answers go viral. So, and people need to see that. People are saying he's the best basketball player right now and or ever. I don't think that, but but it's good when he says something, people listen, and if it's gonna help the world, help people, then let it keep going, but do it safely. Now,
Absolutely.
also on top of that, when you were saying that they have the owners have all these the politicians and all the power and stuff, that worries me because like NFL owners are just like, to me, almost even more powerful. And to me, there's no doubt in my mind that there's going to be NFL happening because almost not stoppable to me when it comes back. So
such a beast of a business.
Yeah, and that worries me because I mean, hopefully they follow NBA suit and the hockey suit and all that, but they might not, because like you said, Lou, it's hard when the team is 60 and the crew is 40 deep for each team. So like how do you create a bubble? Like, are we literally gonna cut off a whole part of a city for NFL players to just live in, and none of us are allowed to enter? Like, I don't know.
No, and then they're already not playing preseason games. They're already basically just, week one is going to be the first time these guys get live contact. There's going to be a lot of people hurt. I don't know. The NFL season might be a full clusterfuck. Plus, the NFL is also, it's not going to get any easier because, I think it was a week ago or a week to 10 days ago, which was the anniversary of 4 years ago, the first time that Colin Kaepernick actually knelt for the national anthem, was literally 4 years ago. And players have been coming out and saying, I feel embarrassed that I didn't kneel with him back then, based on the stuff that's happening now. So I don't know how unless you have because there was a player in the NBA that didn't kneel for the national anthem, and he said because he had religious reasons and he thought that It was not any, and people respected him for that. But how do you think? I would think that it would be hard for most NFL players not to kneel right now. Especially African American players, like, and even the tone of some of the most outspoken owners, which was like Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys is one of the top 5 most valuable franchises on the planet. It's the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Knicks, the LA Lakers. Those are the 3 most valuable sports franchises in the world. The New York Yankees. So there's no way for you to be Jerry Jones on your fucking 132-yard yacht. You have a stadium that you own yourself in Texas.
Wow.
And his thought process has always been like, well, my players aren't going to kneel and this and that, and he's changed his tune, basically saying, it's a different time or what have you. But there is no way that these owners of billion-dollar franchises do not have political influence and political muscle that they just have not been willing to flex. So not only is it going to be a clusterfuck of a year because of COVID, because of social distancing, because they want to try to keep people in the stands, and because they want to keep making that money, but because game 1, day 1, there's going to be kneeling, there's going to be protests, and then there's going to be tweeting from the president, and then there's going to be people saying that, I sat at a poker table once, and somebody's ignorant opinion was like, well, they make too much money, they should be happy with what they have, which is ridiculous, because how much money a person has in their bank account shouldn't prevent them from being socially conscious. So yeah, it's gonna be a clusterfuck is my point. But I think that even that the controversy about the NBA, where they're like, shut up and dribble, or nobody cares, or blah blah blah, or Jared Kushner said, oh, they have what did he say? He said at least they have the ability to be able to take a day off work, like basically saying they're rich and they got a lot of money. And but I think whatever's happening right now, like whatever happened this week about the boycott, I guarantee it's going to be triple that at least when the NFL starts. So we are in for, I believe, a very, the first game of the NFL season, I believe, is like September 10th or something like that. But from the middle of September, October, until November 3rd, it's gonna, I don't know, man. I just think that there's gonna be a lot of crazy shit happening in this country, over the next 2 months, right? Do you agree?
Yeah, bro. I mean, when they not quoted, but I don't even know what word I'm trying to find. Predicted. There we go. They predicted that 300,000 people was gonna die by December from the virus alone. I was like, nah. But when it got to 150 and then went to 180, I was like, whoa, they might be right. So I'm just like, but when it was 150, that was only like a month ago. So I'm like, we only got a couple more months till December. So it's like, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all.
I feel like nationwide we've already beat those odds. Nationwide.
Yeah, this kind of depends. There's pockets, there's clusters, there's stuff like that. So, obviously it has gotten worse. Hopefully, I don't know. I think that if we would have just chalked up and said, listen, March, April, it's a wrap. Everybody just needs to like lock it down. We're gonna fucking take our medicine for fucking 2 months, 60 days. Stay your ass in. The only people allowed outside are Domino's delivery drivers. Everybody else, stay your ass at home. Domino's and Pizza Hut can go on the road and Uber Eats, and everybody else can just sit your ass at home for 2 months. I think we would have gotten over it. But people chose to, they make wearing a mask, out to be like some huge inconvenience. And it's like, oh, they're trying to control you. They're trying to do this. And I'm like, so they're trying to control you, and their end game is to make you wear a mask to slightly inconvenience your breathing?
Yeah.
Because that seems like a weird end game.
Right.
Well, I can sympathize a little bit because we're not meant to be like caged in and whatnot, like they like
No,
to say,
absolutely.
right? But seriously, if we did just stay in the house for a full like 60 days, we could have shortened this whole thing, you know?
I could be in the club right now. I need to freaking dance, yo. Like, you don't understand. I feel like I don't know, man. And I've been dancing the past couple of days, finally again. I've found some awesome songs. I'm always downloading and getting new songs to add to my playlist. And I found like 20 like songs that are just vibing with me right now. And I've just been getting it. But man, if I was in the club, the first time I go to a club, after the numbers go way down.
You're gonna be wrapped in bubble wrap? You're gonna be wrapped in bubble
I'm
wrap or
not
something?
going to stop, man. I'm
Bubble
gonna have
boy.
to make sure. I'm gonna have to like prep my thighs and my calves and my legs beforehand
Oh,
because
yeah,
I
you're
know
gonna
I'm never going to get off the dance floor. Never going to get out. I'm like, yo, here's my debit card. Here's my cash. Go buy me a drink. Bring it to me because I'm not leaving. So bring me my drinks, just like you guys got your drinks brought to you. But yeah, like that's my plan after the numbers go down. Whenever the numbers go down.
Yeah, and then one other thing that I've noticed is true. The media is there to stoke fears and keep you in your house, obviously, even though we might say some of it's real, some of it's not. But the fact of the matter is that they make money when people stay home and sit there in front of the TV and are scared. And it is true. One of the things that I notice is that people are right. They tell you the horrible things, but they don't say, "Hey, listen, get some sun, drink, take some zinc, eat a lot of vegetables, enhance your immune system." I don't see a lot of that on the news. I see a lot of reactionary, cautionary stuff that they put out there. So, that's another thing, yeah, we're not meant to be caged.
Biased.
Yeah, it's definitely there. Like, as much as right-wing conservatives and people that are conspiracy theorists are mostly on the wrong side of the argument, I think they do. I'm kind of a middle of the road guy, so I'm not going to lie and say that they don't sometimes make some valid points, about government control, about things that are actually happening, that even so. I think the main thing that people can do is just sort of listen to all the different types of information that are out there, but really consider the sources, do your research, and be open to alternate ideas. So
multiple sources. Yeah.
Multiple sources. Go out there, man. There is such a thing. There was a time in this company where reporting was a very important thing, and then we can all look forward to seeing Kenny dance on his stream on Twitch at Hero Team Ken, where he'll be just chatting and he'll be dancing for bits, Twitch bits.
Wow.
500 Twitch bits to see him get his drop down and get his ego on.
Man, I've been thinking about all that. Like, what am I gonna have these people do when they do drop me something? Like, because everybody has something.
You're gonna floss on them. You're gonna do the Fortnite floss on them,
right? The towel.
No one said you couldn't club now. This new Zoom generation, you can just start clubbing on Zoom and invite all your fans.
Dude,
that's true.
You have those big hamster balls for people where like bubble boy type deal. Why not just have like a fucking basketball arena and just have everybody bubble up and then boom, bounce into each other?
That would be fun. It'd be like bumper cars 2020.
I've seen some videos like that. Not with basketball involved, but yeah, that's funny.
I would enjoy that.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Like,
I got a big old backyard back there.
But there really are DJs right now that are broadcasting on like OBS or Twitch too.
Yeah.
Their whole DJ sets. It's like the clubs have come to Zoom.
Oh yeah,
have come to you.
Talk shows and everything on Twitch. It's awesome. Love it.
Yeah, there's and I guess that was the main genesis of me wanting to talk to you to Jovi and Kenny today, is about the fact that creativity has not stopped. If anything, necessity is the mother of invention, as we all know, and rough times call for creative solutions, and we all need to stay sane. We all need to kind of have our outlets. You know, you have your 60-second soap opera, you have your band. Kenny's got his Twitch stream, and he's doing content with me. I have my talk show, and I have my other videos and editing platforms and stuff like that. So the fact that people are rising above this and creating excellent content and sort of even collaborating, making music, making videos is really one of the most uplifting things that that is going on in society at a time when it needs it. So I appreciate you guys both for either collaborating with me or doing your own thing to put stuff out there.
Anytime.
Heck
and then
yeah.
and then Kenny, you guys can see him at Hero Team Ken once again on Twitch. He's also part of all the 2 a.m. Burrito products, either behind or in front of the camera. He's always helping me out. So make sure that you guys follow him there. And I think it's twitch.tv/Hero Team Ken. And Jovi, thank you very much for coming on. I know we've been planning for a little bit, and it's weird circumstances, but I think that obviously I appreciate you as a collaborator, as a friend.
Yeah.
And
Thanks for having me, Lou.
For a really long time. Actually, you'll be interested. I did an interview that hasn't come out yet with somebody that we used to work with, David, back in the day. And he was very open to the fact that he used to be a skinhead, and we talked about like the history of hatred and stuff like that, and how it kind of changed when he started working with us a long time ago and things like that. So
I had some interesting parking lot conversations with David at some point about that skinhead culture.
Yeah, skinhead culture and music and stuff like that. So this shows, and the main thing that I got out of that was that hatred is something that's learned, not that's inherent to us. So so that's an important thing. So I look forward to you watching that.
I'd love to.
But what's next for the 60-second soap opera? Where can people follow Wicked Echoes?
Yes, we're working on season 2 for the 60-second soap opera, and also putting season 1 together as sort of a short film kind of thing. Currently, I'm editing kind of a segue into season 2 while Knox, who is my creative partner and lives with me too, gets knee surgery. So there's going to be a slight hiatus with the season 2. And then Wicked Echoes, we're also working together in that band as well. So we're going to just work on writing our next album, and try and get that in the San Diego Music Awards again next year. And let's see what happens with that.
Go ahead.
Where you can find us? Sorry. You could totally find us on Facebook and Instagram under Wicked Echoes or the 60-second soap opera. We have our YouTube channels as well. So yeah, we're all over.
How do you define your genre? What's the blend of your musical?
We're pretty much, I guess overall we'd call ourselves alternative, but I'm a big fan of like post-punk. He's a big fan of punk, pop punk, rock and roll. We're all fans of rock and roll. So you put all that stuff together, and that's pretty much us. Put a little dark wave on top. There you go. Cool. Not quite sure what you would call that.
Jovi music. That's what we would call it. Jovi music. And again, Kenny, thank you for coming on. I know it's a rough night, in a rough week, in a rough year. So I appreciate that you came in and shared your thoughts about Chadwick's passing. Any last words from you?
No. It was the
fake out.
You didn't give me a chance to think about that question. Now I had time. Can
I go ahead. Yeah. You want to give us your favorite scene?
I think my favorite scene might have been the club scene, the club fight scene. I just really liked how Chadwick walked in there and he knew that FBI dude, and he knew like people because he's the king of fucking Wakanda. So of course he knows who's who in America. I just thought that like the thought and just the feeling of that whole scene, like it wasn't. The question was, what's your favorite Chadwick? But it's just like a everybody scene. Like everybody in that whole freaking club scene just killed it all the way into the car chasing and the flipping and the jumping and so that was probably one of my favorite.
It had to be the club scene. Saw that coming.
Hey.
You be you, Kenny. You be you.
Hey, you haven't even seen it yet.
Damn, Joe.
I know. I'm too busy in the DC universe. Sorry.
Hey, I love DC and Marvel, but I make time for both.
It's darker. I can't handle the jokes, the family-oriented jokes. I can't handle it.
Are you excited about the Snyder Cut, Jovi?
I don't know. What's that?
Well, you're a DC girl, so Zack Snyder, the original cut of Justice League, before he had to step away, and now HBO Max is releasing his director's cut versus the orangey one that they put out in theaters.
Well, I am now.
Okay, all right. And then one other thing that I wanted to mention see if either of you guys think, but what did you guys think of well, there was two major releases, DC. There was the Batman release with Robert, what is this, Twilight dude? What's his last name?
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. Who's a great actor. He's actually a really good actor. He's been in a couple of different movies that are really good. And then I think it's like all these trailers that got released during the DC fan thing just kind of were trying to out, because the Batman trailer had the underneath the bridge. They had like the sad Nirvana song for it. So all these trailers that came out this week all had these little very sad, kind of like late 90s grunge.
I'm not gonna lie, that's why I liked it.
Yeah, no, I thought the trailer was awesome myself. Oh wait, we have a late Mark Atkinson comment. Bummer about Boseman, R.I.P. And Jovi Olivas Ross, by the way. Hey.
Oh man, you rock, Mark.
Mark Atkinson dropping in to drop a little knowledge on Jovi. But Kenny, did you watch the new Batman trailer?
No, I saw my watch later thing on YouTube. I haven't watched it yet.
And Jovi, you liked it because it was dark and brooding.
Yeah, that's why I kind of swing over to DC a little bit. I'm telling you, those jokes, those family-oriented jokes that you find in Marvel movies, I just couldn't do it. Can't.
But I'm going to tell you, there's zero moments in the DC universe that are as good as, and the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe is, for me, I don't know if it was the first Avengers movie or one of the Avengers movies where Spider-Man follows Tony Stark into the spaceship, and then Tony Stark is like, all right, you're an Avenger now, kid. And then Peter Parker sort of like stops for a second, and he sort of like brushes it off like, yeah, I'm an Avenger now, but then all of a sudden like it hits him, like the depth of it hits him. And that scene is number one. And then when
you cry,
no, not much. And then also when he disappears, obviously, where he turns to dust or whatever, right there with Tony, and he says he don't feel good. And then when he comes back and he starts talking, like, oh, Mr. Stark, there was this and this, and he just like hugs him. I think their relationship is like the heart of those movies, and obviously when he says, I am Iron Man at the end, those are like that one when he says Avengers assemble and I'm Iron Man. Those are the ones that give you chills. And even though DC Universe is dark and brooding and it's got its moment, it doesn't, from this fanboy's opinion, it doesn't have anything on those Marvel moments.
Not nearly as much heart, huh?
No, I don't think so.
That's because DC's heart is black and cold. That's okay by me.
Yeah, it's all right. That's why there's separate franchises. But Kenny agrees with me, right, Kenny?
No.
Yeah, right?
Oh, hey.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, I need to think about that a little before I say
Okay.
that. Since we're recording and everything, somebody might try to
Hey,
use it against me.
this is live. This is live. This is right. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on the show. Obviously, like I said, it's a rough day and a rough week and a rough year, but we got to keep. It's good to verbalize it, get this shit out, and also, even under rough circumstances, have a conversation about what's important. So again, thank you, Kenny, for being on. Thank you, Jovi, for being a guest and for being a friend. And I'll sure be talking to you, right?
Heck yeah.
Kenny doing the Wakanda Forever right there.
Wakanda Forever.
This has been. Thank you, everybody, thank you, Olivia, Kalani, Enslaved by Vegetables, Kurt, Mark Atkinson for stopping by and dropping comments and helping the stream. This has been another episode of Fireside Chats with Big Chief Burrito, and thanks for watching.
Bye.
All right, later, guys.
Thanks, Lou.
All right.